right side. Now come back.
This isn't my best moment exactly, but I just could not contain myself. I am that person when I watch games. There was actually a moment where, where Breanna Stewart was giving her a lot of space. She shoots it from the logo, she drills it, and right afterwards, I think all Breanna Stewart could do is kind of laugh about it.
The Indiana Fever handing the New York Liberty their first loss of the 2025 WNBA season with a final score of 102-88. And who stole the show? None other than the phenom herself, Caitlin Clark. The 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year is back, y'all. After missing 5 games due to an injury, she returned with a vengeance, dropping 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists in just 31 minutes.
Where do I even start? 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 threes, 11 for 20 in only 31 minutes of basketball. The Indiana Fever say, come on, New York.
Oh, and she was lights out from 3, hitting 7 of 14 from deep. This game was a statement, and we're gonna break it all down. Every play, every moment, and what it means for Clark, the Fever, and the WNBA at large. Plus, we've got reactions from NBA legends LeBron James and Matt Barnes, who were hyped about Clark's performance. And
I don't really get too starstruck from people, and that was like a moment that I was like I knew I was gonna meet him when I was coming to the game, and that's like one of my idols. Like, LeBron is the GOAT to me, so I don't know, it was just like a crazy moment where I got to meet him in the back, and then for him to go out of his way and like wish me luck on the season. And he really does follow the WNBA, and he watches, and he loves and appreciates basketball, and he loves and appreciates the way the Fever and my teammates play. And I mean, it's just really...
We'll dive into her Instagram post that had everyone talking. This wasn't just a win, it was a declaration. Clark reminded everyone why she's a contender for MVP at just 23 years old. So grab your snacks, settle in, because this is gonna be a deep dive. Caitlin Clark is no stranger to the spotlight. If you've been following the WNBA, you know she's been a game changer since her rookie season in 2024. Let's rewind a bit. Coming out of Iowa, where she was a college basketball legend, breaking records left and right, Clark was drafted first overall by the Indiana Fever in 2024. She didn't just live up to the hype, she exceeded it. In her rookie year, Clark earned the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year award, made her first All-Star appearance, and was named to the All-WNBA team. That's a resume most players dream of, and she did it in her first season. She averaged insane numbers, leading the Fever with her scoring, playmaking, and leadership. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The WNBA is a grind, and Clark faced her share of challenges, adjusting to the pro level, dealing with physical defenses, and the pressure of being the face of the franchise. Fast forward to 2025, her sophomore season. Clark came into this year well rested and on a mission. In her first 4 games, she was averaging 19.0 points, 6.0 rebounds, and 9.3 assists, numbers that scream all-star caliber. But then, boom, an injury sidelined her for 5 games. That's tough for any player, especially one carrying the weight of expectations like Clark. Fans were worried, analysts were speculating. Would she come back the same? Well, spoiler alert, she came back better. This game against the Liberty was her first game back, and let me tell you, she didn't just return, she arrived. We're talking 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and shooting 11 for 20 from the field, 7 for 14 from 3. Those are MVP numbers, folks. But before we break down every bucket, let's talk about the context. The Indiana Fever were taking on the New York Liberty, a team that was undefeated going into this matchup. This wasn't just any game, it was a clash of titans, and Clark was ready to make a statement. Alright, let's dive into the game itself. The Indiana Fever versus the New York Liberty, June 2025 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. The Liberty came in hot, undefeated, with a roster stacked with stars like Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jonquel Jones. The Fever, on the other hand, were looking to make a statement with their young core, led by Clark and Aaliyah Boston. This was a classic David versus Goliath matchup, and the Fever were ready to sling some stones. Let's set the scene. The Liberty were favored, no question. They've been dominating the league with their high-powered offense and stout defense. But the Fever had something to prove, and with Clark back in the lineup, the energy in the arena was electric. Let's break this game down quarter by quarter, play by play, and see how Clark and the Fever pulled off this upset. From the opening tip, you could tell Clark was locked in. The Fever won the tip, and within the first minute, Clark was already cooking. She drained a deep three off a pick and roll with Aaliyah Boston, setting the tone early. That shot was a message. I'm back, and I'm not playing around. The Liberty responded with a bucket from Brianna Stewart, but Clark wasn't fazed. She came right back with a slick assist to Kelsey Mitchell for a mid-range jumper. By the end of the first quarter, Clark had 8 points and 2 assists, and the Fever were up 28-24. What stood out was her poise. Coming off an injury, you'd expect some rust, but Clark was moving like she never left. Her footwork, her vision, her confidence, it was all there. The Liberty tried to throw multiple defenders at her, but she was reading the floor like a veteran. One play that really stood out was late in the first. Clark drove left, drew a double team, and kicked it out to Nalissa Smith for an open three. That's the kind of play that makes her so dangerous. She's not just a scorer, she's a facilitator who elevates everyone around her. The second quarter is where the Fever started to take control. The Liberty were struggling to keep up with Indiana's pace. Clark was everywhere, scoring, passing, rebounding. She hit another three, this time off a step back, and the crowd went wild. By halftime, she had 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, and the Fever were leading 54-46. Let's talk about that step back three for a second. Cut to clip of the step back three. This is why Clark is special. The defender, Sabrina Ionescu no less, was all over her, but Clark created just enough space with that quick step back and splashed the three. That's the kind of shot that gets you trending on X and has fans losing their minds. The Fever's game plan was clear. Push the pace, spread the floor, and let Clark orchestrate. The Liberty's defense, which is usually so disciplined, was a step slow, and Clark was exploiting every gap. She was finding cutters, hitting shooters, and scoring at will. Meanwhile, Aaliyah Boston was a force in the paint, cleaning up rebounds and finishing lobs from Clark. This was team basketball at its finest. If you thought Clark was hot in the first half, the third quarter was straight up volcanic. She came out firing, hitting back-to-back threes that had the Liberty calling timeout. The Fever extended their lead to 15, and Clark was unstoppable. She finished the quarter with 24 points, and her confidence was infectious. You could see it in her teammates. They were feeding off her energy. One of my favorite plays was this crossover on Jonquel Jones. Clark faked left, crossed right, and pulled up for a three that was nothing but net. That's the kind of play that ends up on highlight reels for years. The Liberty tried switching up their defense, putting Betnijah Laney Hamilton on her, but it didn't matter. Clark was in a zone. The fourth quarter was all about closing it out. The Liberty made a run, cutting the lead to 8 points with a quick 10-2 spurt led by Ionescu. But Clark wasn't letting this one slip. She hit a dagger three with 3 minutes left, pushing the lead back to 12, and the Fever never looked back. The final score, 102-88 Indiana. Clark finished with 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists on 11 for 20 shooting, 7 for 14 from 3. Those are numbers you don't see every day. Let's talk about those shooting splits. 55% from the field and 50% from 3. That's efficiency at an elite level, and 9 assists. She was 1 dime away from a triple-double in her first game back. This wasn't just a performance, it was a masterpiece. Now let's get to the reactions. When a performance is this big, you know the basketball world is gonna take notice. LeBron James and Matt Barnes, two NBA legends, couldn't stay quiet. LeBron, who's no stranger to clutch performances, took to X to share his thoughts. LeBron's been a vocal supporter of the WNBA, and you can tell he was hyped watching Clark go off. That word different says it all. She's got that special something. Let's break down why LeBron's so impressed. Clark's ability to score from anywhere, her court vision, her poise under pressure. It's the kind of game that reminds you of LeBron in his prime. She's not just playing, she's controlling the game. Matt Barnes, who's been around the game forever, was just as impressed. He posted on X praising Clark's toughness coming off the injury. Barnes knows what it takes to compete at the highest level, and he sees that in Clark. Coming back from an injury isn't easy, physically or mentally. You've got to shake off the rust, deal with the pressure, and perform in front of a packed house. Clark did all that and more. Let's talk about what makes her built for this. It's her work ethic, her basketball IQ, and that clutch gene. She's 23, but she plays like a 10-year vet. LeBron and Barnes aren't just hyping her up for clout. They see a player who's changing the game. Clark's performance wasn't just about stats. It was about impact. She lifted her team, silenced doubters, and put the league on notice. When legends like LeBron and Barnes are giving you props, you know you're doing something right. After the game, Caitlin Clark took to Instagram to celebrate the win, and her post was pure vibes. She wrote, "Good to be back. Simple, but it said everything. That heart emoji and sparkle, that's Clark letting the world know she's back and loving every second of it. Let's break down this post. First, the caption. Good to be back is an understatement. She didn't just come back, she dominated. The heart emoji shows her love for the game and her fans, and that's sparkle. That's the star power she brings. Clark's social media game is strong. She knows how to connect with fans and keep the momentum going. The photos she posted were fire. Action shots of her hitting threes, celebrating with teammates, and soaking in the crowd's energy. This wasn't just a victory post.